Hi everybody, it's Heather, a little bird Blythe. Today I'm going to make a hat and I thought I would show you how I'm going to do that. Now it's a hat in this style, so this is a prototype, for want of a better word, when I was watching a movie and I thought, you know what, I just fancy making a hat. So I used some really nice stiff wool felt and went about making myself a hat. Now I didn't get the measurements totally right there because I didn't take into account my seam allowances. I was only playing around, but I thought I liked the shape of it and I wanted to make a slightly bigger brim. So what I had to do was move towards maths to help me make the right design. Now hopefully this will work. So what I've done, I've cut my own pattern out here and I have measured around the Blythe doll head, and I've added a little bit this time, so I went for 11 inches and I've worked out using a basic calculation what diameter I needed for the middle of the hat to fit nicely on the Blythe doll head. So I'll show you in a moment. This fits quite nicely at the moment, but I might need to make some adjustments for seams and things like that. But this seems to work okay. So basically what I've managed to do is come up with a nice pattern. It's basically using my compass. I set my compass to, I think it was, these are my measurements here, for the 11-inch circumference for the head. I worked out that the diameter of the circle would be approximately 3.5 inches, and so that would make the radius, that's basically using the compass, so that would be that distance would be half of that, so that's 1.75 inches. So I basically set my compass here at 1.75 inches under a circle, and then I thought actually the rim of the hat would be lovely if I just added on. So I then set my I doubled basically the radius and went for 3.5 inches to draw a circle all the way around, and that's made quite a nice size for the rim, I think. So when I'm cutting my pattern I will actually add a little bit for my seam allowances so that I can join them neatly without losing any of the size inside. Right then, so that's my pattern. I've already cut it. I used like a vellum type paper because I know you're supposed to use tissue paper for making patterns, but this is my tip. I don't use tissue paper because I find it tears too easily. I know there's pattern cutting paper, but I prefer the vellum because it's slightly thicker. You can still pin it if you want to, but I use a stick and spray. So this stuff, so I'll basically just spray a tiny bit on to the pattern and stick it down, so I don't have to bother faffing around with pins and things like that, and that works really well for me. That's what I do. So that's my pattern. I'm now going to cut that out of some fabric. Now just for the purposes of the video really, I'm going to be using this because it's nice and easy. It doesn't fray. I don't have any felt in the colour that I wanted to use. I mean, you could use, I have got this sort of on standby that I might use, which is an old felted wool sweater, and I quite like that, but I'm going to save that because I might use that another day. But you could use something like that, so an old felted sweater. But on this occasion, because I haven't got any felt in the colour I want to use, I'm going to use this fleece, so it's going to be quite floppy, so we'll see, we might need to stiffen it at some point, but it's just the right width for me to cut my pattern out of. So I'm going to use this. So what I'm going to do now is just spray that on and then cut it out, and then we'll start piecing the bits together. So here we go. going to do, rather than cut from that hole, because I know how big my hole is going to be, I'm actually going to fold this over to get the centre. And I know that that is my radius, so I know that if I cut so basically that's 1.75 to the centre there. So if I cut here, if I can cut it there, but I want to make it slightly smaller than that, so I've got a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, so I'm going to cut at 1.5 inches just there. So what I'm going to do is just snip that there, and then very carefully follow around so I get a similar. So it might not be the perfect circle, but it's not too bad, and this should be slightly smaller, just slightly smaller. Oh, I went a little bit too big that size, but that's not too bad. That'll be all right. Okay, now what we need to do now is the rim of the hat. So we are going to literally just cut a strip for that. We want to make sure that the strip is going to be long enough to go all the way round, so it has to be as big as our circle. So what I will do is cut a strip from this edge, because I know that the circumference is approximately 11 inches, so I'm going to cut a strip that's slightly larger than that. So what I might do is use my ruler for that, so I shall be back in a moment. Okay, so here we have the finished hat. I'll put it on a doll for you to see that it fits nicely. This is worn obviously with the seam at the back, but I was considering actually having this at the front and then turning this up and decorating the front so you don't see the seam. You could, if you wanted a stiffer rim, you could either use interfacing or you could double up, sew around the outside and then turn it round so that you've got a double layer of fabric, if you understand what I mean. But anyway, this is what it looks like. I did want it quite floppy, so that's quite nice. So she looks really cute in it. It fits beautifully. It's got a bit of give because I've used the Blythe. Obviously it's not the neatest. I was working quite quickly to get it done for the video, but I think that looks quite nice. So you can have it this way to make a nice little floppy hat, or what I probably will do, and I'll show you pictures if that's the case, is put it on this way round with a seam at the front, and then possibly turn the rim up and add some decorations on here. So we'll see. I don't know, I actually quite like it that way around now. My intention was to do it the other way around, but I actually quite like it this way around. It's sort of quite bonnet. Be quite nice for Wimbledon, wouldn't it? Right, anyway, so I'm babbling on again, as I often do in my videos. I hope that you have enjoyed this, enjoyed seeing how to make a Blythe hat. I hope it's given you some inspiration. If you've got any comments, please leave them below. If you like dolly videos and want to see more makes, then please do feel free to subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell so you're told when I upload future videos. If you've got any comments or suggestions for future videos, then feel free to put those in the comments as well. And I hope you have a fantastic week. Thanks ever so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. You take care. Bye bye.